Just going to start with the introduction to Angular 2. Angular was a front-end JavaScript framework designed to build single-page applications using an MVC-like architecture. The Angular approach was to extend the functionality of HTML using special attributes that bind JavaScript logic with HTML elements. Angular's JavaScript ability to extend HTML allowed cleaner DOM manipulation, document object model manipulation through client-side templating, and two-way data binding that seamlessly synchronized between models and views. AngularJS also improved the application's code structure and testability using MVC and dependency injection. AngularJS 1 was and still is a great framework, but it was built with the concepts of ES5 in mind, and with the huge improvements brought by the new ES15 2015 specification coming up, the team had to rethink the entire approach, from Angular 1 to Angular 2. If you're already familiar with Angular 1, moving to Angular 2 might seem like a big step. However, the Angular team made sure to keep the good parts of Angular 1 while leveraging ES 2015's new capabilities and maintaining a clearer path toward an improved framework. Here's a quick summary of the changes made from Angular 1. Syntax. Angular 2 relies on the new ECMAScript specification, formerly known as ES6, and now renamed ES 2015. However, the specification is still a work in progress and browser support is still lacking. To overcome this issue, the Angular 2 team decided to use TypeScript. TypeScript is a superset of ES 2015, which means that it allows you to write strongly typed ES 2015 code, which will later be compiled into the ES5 or ES 2015 source, depending on your needs and platform support. Angular 2 is pushing hard for TypeScript usage in their documentation and code examples, and so will we. Don't worry though, as vast and terrifying as TypeScript might seem, by the end of this chapter you'll be able to use it. Modules. Angular 1 introduced a modular architecture that required the usage of the Angular module custom method. However, ES 2015 introduced a built-in module system very similar to the one used in Node.js. So Angular 2 modules are much easier to create and use. Controllers. Angular 1 was all about controllers. In the first version of this book, this chapter is mainly focused on the Angular 1 MVC approach. In the first version of this book, this chapter was mainly focused on the Angular 1 MVC approach, but in Angular 2, the basic building block is components. This shift also represents a bigger shift in the JavaScript ecosystem, especially regarding web components. Scopes. The famous scope object is now obsolete. In Angular 2, the component model is cleaner and more readable. Generally, the introduction of classes and ES 2015 and support in TypeScript allows better design patterns. Decorators is a design feature implemented in TypeScript and is probably going to be implemented in ES 2016. Decorators allow developers to annotate classes and members in order to add features or data while not extending the entity. Angular 2 relies on decorators to implement certain features, and you're going to deal with them later in this chapter. Dependency injection. Angular 1 used the dependency injection paradigm quite intensively. Angular 2 made dependency injection simpler and now supports multiple injectors instead of one. All of these features mark a new era for Angular and JavaScript in general, and it all starts with TypeScript. Up next, introduction to TypeScript. This one's a little longer, but we're only 5 minutes in, so let's get to it. Angular 2 architecture. Okay, let's get at least through this part. These could each be separate videos. Let's make sure. It's a long page. license medium. Introduction to TypeScript. Types. Basic types. The any type. Interfaces. Decorators. Summary. Alright, let's get through this. 5 minutes. Yeah, we can do this page in 20 minutes. Can we get a sponsorship from Coke? I know it's bad for you, but I'm drinking the sugar water anyways. A little hummingbird. There we go, it's a good screenshot. Coke and a smile. Smiles are extra. Okay. TypeScript is a typed programming language created by Microsoft, which uses the object-oriented foundations of C#, Java, and now ES 2015. Code written in TypeScript is transpiled into JavaScript code either in ES3, ES5, or ES 2015. It can be run on any of the modern web browsers. It is also a superset of 2015, so basically any JavaScript code is valid TypeScript code. So basically any JavaScript code is valid TypeScript. The idea behind this was to create a strongly typed programming language for big projects that will allow big teams to better communicate the interface between their software components. As derived from its name, TypeScript has an optional type system that allows the developers to enforce limits on their code in order to have better clarity. Since a lot of the features in TypeScript were already implemented in the ES 2015, we'll touch a few basic features that we'll need and didn't get in the current specifications. Types. Okay, we can go ahead and see. Let's keep our notes up to date. Introducing Angular 2, Introduction to TypeScript. Okay. From there we got down to types. Skip basic type. I won't skip it, but we won't put the basic types in the notes. We got the 2 bolds for 2 pages. And then we got a subheading for types. So after types, the any type. After types, we'll do interfaces. Interfaces,
which means they're more prone for addictions and behavior problems.
Decorators,
Learning difficulties. Because too much cortisol, the stress hormone, interferes with learning and actually shrinks the hippocampus, which is the part of the brain responsible for retaining memory.
types, interfaces, decorators, and a summary. Okay. I'm not going to put summary in the notes. The notes kind of are summary. Okay. So we're going to cover three things here. Types are a major part of every programming language, including JavaScript. Unfortunately, static typing was not introduced in 2015. However, TypeScript support the basic JavaScript types and also allows developers to create and use their own types. Basic types. Types can be JavaScript primitive types as shown in the following code. First name, string, last name. Height, last name. Let is done, boolean. Moreover, TypeScript also allows you to work with arrays. Names, array, string, numbers, number. Both ways are then transpiled into the familiar JavaScript array declaration. Numbers, number, array, let's see. The any type represents any free-form JavaScript value. The value of any will go through a minimal static type checking by the transpiler. It will support all operations as a JavaScript value. All properties on an any value can be accessed, and an any value can also be called as a function with an argument list. Actually, any is a supertype of all types, and whenever TypeScript cannot infer a type, the any type will be used. You'll be able to use the any type either explicitly or not. Okay. Interfaces. Oh yeah, we're only 13 minutes. So we got 2 subjects left with 6 minutes on each. I'll call it quits for this morning. Still got some other work I gotta get to. Okay. Interfaces. As TypeScript is about keeping the structure of your project highly important parts of the language are interfaces. An interface allows you to shape your objects and keep your code solid and clear. Classes can implement interfaces. Which means that they will have conform to the properties or methods declared in the interface. Interfaces can also inherit from other interfaces, which means that their implementing classes will be able to implement the extended interfaces. An example TypeScript interface will look similar to this. iVehicle, wheels, engine, drive. So that's a number, a string, and a function. Here we have an iVehicle interface with 2 properties and 1 method. An implementing class would look like this. Class car implements iVehicle, wheels, number, engine, string, constructor, wheels, number, engine, string. This engine equals engine. Drive console log driving.
Behavioral approaches. So the problem is the behavior. So when a child is acting up, this will tell you. When the kid is doing this,
Okay, drive console log driving. Okay, as you can see, the car class implements the iVehicle interface and follows the structure set by it.
managing that acting out.
Interfaces are a powerful feature of TypeScript and are an important part of object-oriented programming. It is recommended that you continue reading about them here.
We act out. It doesn't mean
Decorators.
we act out.
Excuse me.
We don't have the language to say
Right on schedule. 6 minutes. Put us at 22.
when the game is charades, where you're not allowed to
While it's still in the proposal stage for the new ES7 specifications, Angular 2 relies heavily on decorators. A decorator is a special kind of declaration that can be attached to various entities, such as classes, methods, or properties. Decorators provide developers with a reusable way to annotate and modify classes and members. A decorator uses the @decorator name form, where the decorator name parameter must be a function that will be called at runtime with the decorated entity. With the decorated entity.
what happened was that this kid
Be
had
called at runtime with the decorated entity. Okay. A simple decorator would look as follows: function decorator target any at decorator class my class.
and this kid had been bullied and was very upset. He was screaming. I don't know what he was doing. The teachers in
Decorators are
decided that what he needed
functions that apply classes.
often we do that.
At runtime, the decorator will be executed with the target parameter populated
At which point you really think
with the my class constructor.
physiologically he needed something very, very
Moreover, the decorator can also have arguments as follows.
at which point he started throwing things and actually destroying the furniture, and that's when the problem was. In the debate afterwards,
Function decorator with arguments, options, object.
call the police. They're gonna
Return target object.
That's what they're trained to do. Real question.
Decorator with args,
That
type, some type,
and I assume well-educated teachers.
class, my class. This pattern is also known as a decorator factory.
Child needed at that moment.
Decorators may seem a bit odd, but as soon as we dive into Angular 2, you'll begin to understand their robustness. Summary: TypeScript has been around for years and is being developed by a very strong team. This means that we've barely scratched the surface of its endless features and abilities. However, this introduction will provide us with the skills and knowledge required for diving into the great framework that Angular 2 is. Up next, Angular 2 architecture. Let's go back to notes. So the next episode will be 43. No, we just did 43.
Another way to understand all this,
We go into 44.
which is that these behaviors rest on an emotional edifice, and the behaviors are not such as meet our standard expectations and don't serve the child. We actually have to ask ourselves,
Angular 2 architecture.
child emotionally
What's coming up next?
now, and let's face it, there's many more kids who have behavior problems, impulse regulation
Okay,
problems.
this will be a longer read. We'll save this to next episode.
Emotional outbursts, difficulties learning, is burgeoning in our society.
Let's minimize it and get our overview.
Is it because some genetic disease is somewhat mysteriously spreading in the population?
I think 50 is what worked out good last time.
In children's lives,
50%. Can still see the basics of that. Can exit full screen.
emotionally regulated,
Over here.
with impulse regulation, to be able to regulate their stresses.
Pull it down. Pull it down.
The prefrontal cortex, you'll be hearing with the brain today, I'm sure.
We're in good shape there. So next episode, we got 5 minutes. Clean up our notes. Kind of wrap it up. So next episode will be 44.
Regulates the body itself. The prefrontal
And that's
cortex
gonna be Angular 2 architecture in bold.
lead us to develop evolutionary speaking. It really is what distinguishes us from other animals. It regulates the body. It
I'm
regulates
gonna need this one, introduction to TypeScript. That's what we just covered.
responsible for emotional balance.
those three types up here, types, interfaces, and decorators. So the Angular 2 modules.
That line of stepping. Then instead of reacting, I scream back at you. I can actually say, oh, okay, what's happening for you?
Followed up by Angular 2 components.
Then I can respond rather than react. Providing insight, providing empathy, the modulation of fear.
And then
So that when something
you can
happens,
take all this Angular 2 stuff out and just do
something in the prefrontal cortex
modules, components, and templates.
saying, okay, calm down. You can actually handle this. Intuition and morality.
Let's do
Dr. Rick Hansen will follow my
we got left. Just do a block of 3. So far that gets us. I predict that's what we'll get to next episode. Data binding. Property binding.
The reason that so many children have so many problems is for no other cause that the parenting environment becomes so stressed, so that parents are no longer able to provide their children with an environment that these functions and the prefrontal circuits that serve these functions can develop properly. That's why the epidemic.
If I don't want to say Angular 2, I would put property binding.
Drinking water.
Angular 2 event binding.
It's not some genetic disease that's spreading. What's going on is that the conditions for healthy brain development of the prefrontal cortex are less and less available.
Two-way binding.
Let me turn on to an article.
Directives, structural directives.
Which is the official journal of the American Media Association. And this article appeared in February 2012. It summed up very nicely the accumulated knowledge of the past several decades. The article is from the Medical Center on the Developing Child. They say, growing scientific evidence demonstrates that social and physical environments that threaten human development because of scarcity, stress, and I stressed
Event binding.
or instability can lead to short
Two-way binding.
psychological adjustments that are necessary for immediate survival and adaptation, but which may come at a significant cost to long-term outcomes,
Go back to on the Angular 2 kick.
behavior, health, and longevity.
It's all Angular 2. I don't know why they put it on some category, some of the headings, and some of them not.
Develop as a
Property binding, event binding, Angular 2 directives,
will help them endure that.
structural directives.
Long-term will interfere with health and learning.
These are subheadings. Attribute directives, structural directives. So I guess the same thing. Binding and binding. Two-way binding, event binding, property binding. Yeah, those are all under Angular 2 data binding. Directives. Angular 2 services. I know there's going to be a lot on this page. They're all short, but there's a lot to go over. setup, routes, router, outlet, and summary. Just take these two out. We'll take these two out. Basically all the Angular 2 are the headings. So I could just shorten that. We'll say modules. Oh, missed one there. Why is that? Okay. Take out all these Angular 2. Oh, here's a cool thing about brackets. I haven't done this yet on the video. It's control. Cool. It's the first time it's really been helpful. Okay. That should do it. Hit 25 minutes. Close enough. When we come back, so you save that. Yep. I gotta do some other stuff today. Types, interfaces, Deco, episode 44. Models, components, templates, data binding, directives, services, dependency injection, routing. So we're going to cover a lot next time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll try and get all that in.